In this tutorial, I would like to present you a few very useful tools built into Symphony for developing and editing your vectors. While you are in the Vectors window, click on the Vectors in the command bar to pull down the feature drawer of Vector Editor tools. Let's talk about these features a little bit. Move to Vector is used for moving vertically in the Vectors window. Once you select it, a pop-up windows will prompt for destination vector address. Let's type here vector address 5 and then click OK. You can see that the carriage is set at vector address number 5. Position on pin is used for moving horizontally in the vectors window. We can enter the pin name or number depending on the vector format. The carriage will be set at the entered position. You can also move carriage to desired position by simply clicking there with your mouse. Search patterns allows locating specific patterns within a single vector. Enter the pattern to look for. In this case, we are looking for logic 0 on the MR pin. Click Start. Symphony will search forward for the pattern starting at vector 0. We see that the carriage is set exactly at the vector address where the pattern was found. Comment search searches the comment field for any string. Enter your search string, and search pattern will list vector addresses with the complete comment. We can double-click to get to vector address. Download vectors and upload vectors load or save vector files. If you loaded a set file, it will appear here. The software remembers the names of the files that were saved along with the SIT file. You can browse for other files or uncheck one of downloads. Two kinds of files can be downloaded: vector and program files. Functional test vectors use the extension .trn. Additional options are load comments only and stop on end vector of trn, which automatically set the last vector to the end vector in the trn file. Pattern Generator program uses the extension .pra. The download button loads chosen files. Upload vectors basically means saving current vectors or program. Similarly to the download vectors, we can uncheck files which we do not want to save. For the vector file, we can set range of vector addresses which we want to save. There is option here to save curve trace settings as well. Certain windows, such as vectors and analysis, will retain your custom resizing for the future if the save screen positions is checked. The Upload button saves vector and program files and screen positions. Vector Generate feature has long been a favorite of users. When demands are such that vectors must be created or modified by hand, you can generate commonly used patterns into selected fields and addresses. You can choose one of 5 generated patterns: walking zeros, walking ones, sequential count, and enter numeric start value. Inverted sequential and checkerboard. Enter the start and end vector address for the generate range, and put a G under the pins that will receive generated data. Then, click on the Done button and check your vectors. Filling vectors allows fill a huge block of vectors or just a few. When the window opens, the address range is set to default values. Clear pattern will return all characters to asterisk. Clear all will perform a clear pattern and also reset the address range to default. Skip allows the fill to skip vectors throughout the fill address range. Click on the Execute button and check if vectors were filled correctly. When using the programmable pattern generator to execute vectors not sequentially, I mean looping, jumping, etc., you can fill a range of the program field with specific commands using program fill. To fill the pattern generator field with a certain command, select the instruction to use for the fill. For detailed description of the instructions, see the user's manual under Programmable Pattern Generator or our different tutorial video on YouTube. It is good practice to begin creating the program by filling all vectors with naup, which means execute this vector and go on to the next one. Enter the address range for the fill and fill it. The search button is used for searching a command in the program field. Just click on the command which you want to find and click search. MX fill program works at exactly the same way as program fill, but it is used for mixed signal feature. Vector copy helps you perform not only single vector copies, but selective block copies. Start by entering the first and last vectors of the source block you wish to copy. The count value will appear automatically. To copy a single vector, set first vector equal to last vector. With vectors selected, a range of vectors for all pins is copied vertically to a new destination vector. Select pins to copy horizontally, that is, to copy columns of vector data from one group of pins to another. Enter the destination first vector. The last vector will default to first vector plus count minus 1. Check to include the comments if you need it, and select one of 3 possible options. The Move button moves source vectors to the destination vector. There is no change in number of vectors. Copy and Insert moves vectors down that follow the destination vector. In Run Setup is automatically increased to the new value. Copy and Replace simply overwrites the vectors at the destination vector. Similarly, we can copy pins. To copy a range of pins, select the first and last source pins. Then enter destination pin for the copy. Selecting all vectors copies the entire vector depth. To specify a range of vectors for the copy, select partial. Since copy pins is a horizontal copy, it will always replace the old vectors. Vector to zeros sets all vector data to zeros. Vector to x's and z's masks and sets tri-state for all defined pins. Clear comments clear all comments from the vector window. I/O integrity check verifies that the driver and receiver are never at the same time for each pin defined as I/O. Vector to file and program to file create an ASCII vector or program file from the current setup. Swap pins allows you to move the vector data from the old pins to the new pins if you change pin definition in test setup.